I'm sorry to tell you guys, but this image is 100% real. This was at some point on the Mario Tennis website way back in the day when Waluigi first graced us with his appearance. So now that I got the bad news out of the way, let's talk a little bit about Waluigi and how a whole toenail clipping game came to be. But I need to talk about Mario Tennis first, so bear with me for a moment. This guy is a sinister associate of Wario that likes to play games with the rest of the Mario cast. He has a bone to pick with Luigi because of his popularity, and might just have a crush on Princess Daisy. I guess you can call him an athlete at best. But I guess posting this video will help me find out who has a stronger cult following, Waluigi here or Princess Daisy. But in my opinion, Waluigi has a lot of untapped potential within the Mario franchise and is even more so grossly underutilized than Daisy. But let's take a look at his origins. I'm the Mentalk and welcome to Origin Oracle. Everyone grab a snack, kick back, and let's head back in time. So Waluigi's first appearance was in the Mario sports title Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64, developed by Camelot Software Planning. And if you're not familiar with Camelot, they're the makers of all Mario Tennis and Mario Golf titles and would go on to make the Golden Sun series, which personally I'd love to do a retrospective of someday. And if you truly go back in time with Camelot, you'd know that they once worked for Sega and were in charge of the Shining series for a little while before moving on to do contracts for Nintendo. So Mario Tennis was released in the summer of 2000 for the Nintendo 64, but it would also have a Game Boy Color counterpart released shortly after. Waluigi is introduced in the opening cutscene with him and Wario on the sidelines drinking Haterade while Mario and his friends hold a tennis tournament known as the Mario Star Tournament. The finals come down to Mario and Luigi, who prepare to battle it out in an epic singles match before Wario and Waluigi rush in to trash talk and challenge them. Instead of just entering the tournament, I guess they want to skip everything and take Mario and Luigi on here. By the way, I love how Luigi is ready to square up here. When it comes to sports, Luigi does not mess around. So while Mario tries to stop Waluigi and Luigi from throwing hands, Wario steps in to scrap too. But our favorite Koopa King descends from the heavens to challenge them to a friendly game alongside his boy, Boo. This is actually kind of a cute moment, I'm not gonna lie. So apparently after playing their asses off in that first tournament, they decide to start over, this time with Wario, Waluigi, Bowser, and Boo. And then a Bob-omb walks in and kills everybody.
Oh my god!
From there on, you get to select your characters and play either single matches or doubles, and if you manage to beat the game with Waluigi, you see him break out into a celebration dance only to be disregarded by Luigi, which upsets him greatly. Funny enough, the Mario Tennis Japanese website mentioned that Waluigi hates that Luigi is more liked than he is and strives to win in the tournament to gain similar respect. This is unrelated, but when Mario wins, I love how Wario manages to steal his trophy here before sliding down a pipe while Mario dives in after him with killing intent. Okay, so by the way, I know I did a poll that said Yoshi or Waluigi and I was gonna pick the winner for the next video, but I had Waluigi's script half written already and I have some things going on where I have time constraints on this week, so I'm gonna have to edit Waluigi first. I will get to Yoshi, and for the next poll, I promise I'll go with the results instead. So, alright, back to the video. Camelot was contracted to make this game shortly after Mario Golf, which also released on the Nintendo 64 just a year before. And while they had quite a few Mario characters to work with, they wanted a doubles partner for Wario. The idea for Waluigi came up from the designer of the project, Fumihide Aoki, who wanted to go with a character that would fill that role and also become the rival to Luigi. So they had pitched the idea of the character to Miyamoto, who actually liked it very much, and would go on to help flesh out the concept. And later on, Yoichi Kotabe would help with the final design. Of course, they would use Luigi and Wario as the rubric, exaggerating his features to create this lanky, angular body and chiseled, pointy chin. And just like Wario, they would flip the L on Luigi's cap to give Waluigi an upside-down L on his hat. I mean, this could be a gamma sign as well, but it still doesn't make much sense. I guess this didn't work out as well for him as it did for Wario. The name Waluigi was derived from warui, the Japanese word for bad, and Luigi, which is very similar to how Wario's name was created from Mario's. It wouldn't be the first time this name was used, since we see it in the KC Mario manga by Kodansha that I spoke about in both Daisy and Luigi's video. But this version is just a hypnotized, evil version of Luigi himself and not a separate character. Even still, this was published back in 1992, so it's interesting nonetheless. In issue 135 of Nintendo Power introducing Mario Tennis, Waluigi's profile also mentions that his name comes from a rearrangement of the word Igi Walui, and they completely made up this word to make it make sense in English.
Oh, the deception!
The actual word they're referring to is Igi Warui, which can be used to describe an ill-natured person. And this is also unrelated, but it's cool to see Camelot discussing wanting to work on an RPG at some point, which I can only assume would become Golden Sun. And thus Nintendo had a proper rival for Luigi, for the sports games at least. There was a few websites at the time that referred to Waluigi as Wario's younger brother, like the official Nintendo website around the time Mario Tennis was released. I don't know who wrote that because they've walked this back quite a few times already. So I think Nintendo got tired of people mistaking the two as brothers because it looks like they made sure Sega addressed this in several of the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games titles. The most recent being Tokyo 2020, where the trivia explicitly states that Waluigi is not Wario's brother. At this point, just assume the only family in this series is Mario and Luigi, and Bowser Jr. Everybody else is keeping secrets. But I think Charles Martinet said it best. Wario and Waluigi are just two nice evil guys who found each other. Before I talk about some of his other appearances after Mario Tennis, I ran into something very interesting while researching this video. Around the release time for Mario Tennis, Waluigi had his own promotional website with the URL waluigi.com. They introduced this website in Nintendo Power issue 136 with the following passage. He's lean, he's mean, and he hates the color green. You can check out www.waluigi.com for all your evil psychic needs, photos, secret information, and all the wacky hijinks you could ever desire. We're looking to have online games too, including the Waluigi's Toenail clipping party. Now, I immediately thought this writer was just making a joke, but many fans online have been attempting to scrub the internet to track down a possible lost Flash game known as Waluigi's Toenail clipping party. And as of the release of this video, it hasn't been found yet. Oh, and hang on, there's one more thing in this Nintendo Power passage I wanted to point out. He's so bad, he sold Luigi's underwear on eBay, which raises an interesting question. Who bought this stuff?
What?
I'm more curious as to how and why Waluigi has Luigi's underwear in his possession, but let's not think too hard about that one and move on. So the Waluigi's Toenail clipping Flash game search is still being discussed online, since I found some Lost Media detectives in the Lost Media wiki forums combing through the Wayback Machine for clues. One user, Media Monster, had this to say. Hello, I regret to inform everyone today that the Waluigi Toenail Flash game is in fact not a hoax. I remember seeing some debate a while ago whether or not Nintendo Power made this up just for the kick of it. They did not. If you put this link into the Wayback Machine, the Flash file will begin downloading on your computer. It definitely took me a minute to get my bearings here. Toenailscomin.swf. Yes, this is real. So according to Media Monster, this was the image that popped up, and I swore I was being trolled. This couldn't really be real, right? So you mean to tell me that the name of this Toenail game was gonna be Waluigi's Foot Fault? Some poor web designers had to put this together and potentially work on a Flash game revolving around Waluigi's feet. Amazing. But not only did Media Monster post the image, they gave instructions on how to pull this image from existing Mario Tennis URLs on the Wayback Machine, so I did. I went to the Wayback Machine and did a CDX search to pull every associated URL in relation to MarioTennis.com. A CDX file is essentially a list of metadata with objects that are associated with a web archive file. So if you do this properly on the Wayback Machine, you get a list like this: embedded videos, images, style sheets, all that good stuff that's been used for the Mario Tennis site over the years. Now, all I had to do from here was search for toenails, and if you told my 16-year-old self that I'd be doing this for YouTube how many years later, he'd probably be hitting the delete button on that Sonic Gangster's Paradise video. So, lo and behold, there it is, mariotennis.com/toenailscoming.swf. So I didn't stop there. I actually downloaded a program that could run Flash files, and then I downloaded the Flash file, and when you run it, yes, Media Monster is legit. Waluigi's Foot Fault. Grab your shears and collect a jar full of smelly toenails clipped off Luigi's monstrous feet. The fungus is about to begin. And if you're wondering why this is a Flash file if it's just an image, he actually blinks. This was insane to me, but I need to move on. It's safe to say that either the full game existed at some point, or was just never fully released on that page because it wasn't worth the effort. Another asset that could be found is most likely the page for Waluigi's bio, though the bio itself has probably been lost to time. You can see traces of it in that original Nintendo Power issue. And as for the toenail clipping Flash game, there has to be a web designer or some type of developer out there. It could have been just one person who worked on this, and they exist somewhere. If you are watching this video, come forward. Leave a comment to let me know. This mystery is so close to being solved, and you are the missing puzzle piece we all need. And if anyone wants to dig deeper on this, by all means knock yourself out. If you actually manage to find the actual Flash game, let your boy know and I'll do an update on this video. So from here on, Waluigi would be featured in a majority of the Mario Sports titles and the Mario Party series, being added to the roster for Mario Party 3. In the story mode of Mario Party 3, the player has to take on the challenge of filling their stamp card with the 7 star stamps, with Bowser appearing throughout this mode to get in the player's way. The final stamp is known as the Mischief Star stamp, which Bowser wagers in a challenge against the player, but look at that, Waluigi swipes it from right underneath his nose, and he actually defeats Bowser in a fight. How about that? We've been underestimating him this whole time. He'll then invite the player to the final board in the game, Waluigi's Island, where they'll compete for the final star stamp. In Mario sports titles from that point on, Waluigi's often paired up with Wario in their latest scheme to embarrass the Mario brothers in some other sports tournament. And while none of these games really give much background on Waluigi as a character, he is involved in some interesting scenarios like in Mario Power Tennis, where he and Wario are destroyed in the first round of the tournament by the Mario brothers. So they decide to draw all over Mario and Luigi's image on the tournament board, which leads to them getting chased by the police. And it's really weird to think about the police in the Mario world, but they're here in this game. They then get recruited by Bowser, who trains them to get back out there, which ends up with them just using a machine to launch a ton of bombs at Mario and Luigi. Anyway, that plan blows up in their face. Then there's Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, where Wario and Waluigi try to finesse their way through a golf tournament to face Mario and Luigi. In one of their matches, they end up hitting Bowser in the face with a golf ball, so he attempts to hunt them down and kill them with a bomb. One of Mario's shots ends up hitting Bowser's hand at a critical moment, and all 3 of them die in this explosion. Are you seeing a pattern here? But there's one game I haven't talked about yet in these videos that we need to address for Waluigi. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. Yes, this game was given a story mode, believe it or not, with Mario and Luigi having to beat enemies in dance-offs to stop them from possessing the music keys, which have the ability to grant any wish. Waluigi is the antagonist that kicks this game off, attempting to steal the music keys from the Truffle Towers, causing them to scatter around the Mushroom Kingdom in the process. So of course he gains possession of one, and Mario has to show off his superior dance moves to get it back. Sometimes I'm still amazed that this game exists, but this was around the time where DDR peaked, so I'm not completely surprised. And it's still not the weirdest crossover I've seen. I'll give that award to Ape Escape and Metal Gear Solid.
This is Snake. Anyone on this codec frequency? Okay.
Why was this so good though? Waluigi would also help to kick off the story in Mario Tennis Aces for the Nintendo Switch. Adventure mode for this game opens with Wario and Waluigi attempting to steal a tennis racket with legendary power called Lucian, hidden within the Basque ruins. I found this kind of cool since it's a callback to Wario's treasure hunting days. But plot twist, the racket is an evil racket. Yeah, and then they pull up to the latest tennis tournament that the Mario brothers are playing in covered in bandages and want to give Lucian to Mario as a present for winning the championship against Bowser and Bowser Jr. Luigi in the end is the one that grabs it, which causes him, Wario, and Waluigi to get possessed, which kicks off an adventure to put down an evil tennis racket. I'm not bashing the game at all, it just sounds funny on paper. So outside of these sports and spin-off appearances and the Toenails, what else is there to really know about Waluigi? Well, not much, which is probably why he has such a cult following in the first place. Although this character wasn't exactly a banger at first, Waluigi has since been embraced by the internet, being the source of memes, awkward moments like this.
None of you guys are funny. If you want to prevent cancer, consider standing out in front of the shuttle that's running in front of the hotel.
And a huge push to get him onto the Smash Brothers roster.
Oh, now they gotta put in Waluigi. If Daisy's in it, they gotta put in Waluigi.
You can KO
Waluigi's in assist trophy. Oh no!
And now you get
oh no! People are gonna be so mad that Daisy's in this, but Waluigi isn't.
And I think a lot of this stems from how much we don't know about this character. Case in point, even if Daisy is pretty absent in mainline Mario titles, I can tell you exactly who she is, where she's from, and even show off her moments in an old Super Mario manga. Wait, what? Waluigi was in a manga before his debut? Yeah, there was a small gag comic known as For Coma Land that covered the game Mario and Wario. I spoke about this game in my Wario video since it was created by a tiny developer called Game Freak. But this little comic has Wario visualizing what a Waluigi would look like. And there you go. This image was from 1994, and while it looks kind of nothing like the current Waluigi, it is interesting that we got a very basic design of him, though they just put a WL on his cap instead. He also makes a brief appearance in the other Super Mario manga, Super Mario Kun, showing up in the adaptations for both Mario Tennis and Mario Party 3. But outside what I've mentioned, Waluigi is still waiting for his turn, and if you look into some of the details written about him, it becomes a little sad. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. A twig-thin man who sees himself as Luigi's ultimate rival. He spent a long time working silently in the shadow of the Mario Bros. Before finally becoming strong enough to compete with them in tennis. Super Mario Odyssey. This outfit makes you want to lurk in the shadows, waiting for a turn in the spotlight. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Wario's pal, who thinks he's Luigi's rival. Super Mario Party. What? You think I'm not fine hanging out here alone? I think someone just needs to check in on Waluigi and see if he's okay. Despite not having much background to him, I think a little spot in either a Mario or Wario title in the future would be nice, and seeing there are rumors of another Mario baseball title in development, take that with a grain of salt. We'll be seeing Waluigi again pretty soon, and I hope we get more animations like this. Waluigi! Leave me a comment letting me know if I've missed any details about Waluigi here, or your favorite Waluigi moment in these games. I hope you enjoyed this Origin Oracle. Once again, I'm the Mentalk. Thank you again for all the new subscribers and views, and as always, be safe. The Prophet has spoken.